In Japan, you'll find exciting things that you probably never thought about. Things good and bad, but all interesting. We're here to show you some of those things and show you the pictures that prove Japan is not like any other country. Stand-up business. Check out this memo that the Palace Hotel Tokyo sent out to its guests. At first, it makes sense that they would circulate this memo as it makes it seem as though some real, life-affecting event will be taking place that the guests would need to know about, right? But then, when you read a little more closely, you realize that this memo is in fact informing everyone that there is an impending internet interruption at 4 in the morning for approximately 1 minute. Now, that is so sweet. The management was thoughtful enough to send out this just in case it would actually affect anyone's lives. But 1 minute? Really? They thought it was important to print these up and waste paper over a 1 minute interruption of the internet service? Here in America, you're lucky to get any info when your cable goes down for hours, and most of the time, you have to call to find out what's going on. We'll just say that the Japanese are pretty thoughtful. Check out this toilet. So not only do they have bidets in Japan, but they also have multiple impressive features on said machine to make things a lot more comfortable. Take, for example, the option to play white noise. How awesome is that? We all know the feeling of sitting in an uncomfortable metal box that makes you feel like you're in prison. And if someone is sitting in the stall next to you, it really can be a prison. But in Japan, they overcome the uncomfortableness of the situation by providing a sound close at hand to get yourself through it. How crazy is that? Well, not crazy, but awesome. And maybe we should adopt this. Chipping in. Did you know that following some matches during the FIFA World Cup in 2014, tons of fans stayed behind to help clean up the stadium? That's insane, especially coming from an American standpoint, that these people would go to the soccer game and then help clean up the trash left behind. It makes sense though, considering one game or match can create tons and tons of trash. Why don't people just pick up after themselves and help out a little when they leave somewhere? We know some of you are going to say that it's someone else's job to do so, but if we could just do a little, it would go a long way. Apparently, Japan knows this, and kudos to them. Dang. So, in Japan, bus drivers went on strike, and guess what happened to the cities? Well, it didn't get crazy, and no, people weren't all late for everything, and there wasn't almost a giant apocalypse, and no one died, and, well, we'll just stop there. Instead, bus drivers continued to run their usual routes and let passengers on and off no problem. The only difference is that they didn't charge the passengers for the rides and refused to take bus fares. This taught bus companies much more than if the drivers were to just not show up and shut down half of the country. Now, how awesome is that? How cute is this? If you're a parent, you'll know the struggle of figuring out what to do with your kid when you have to go to the bathroom. This isn't limited to just being out in public either, but at home as well. But that's another story. In public though, they have seats built into the walls and they are specifically designed to put your baby in while you have to potty. In America, you're lucky if the public restrooms have changing stations in them all, although they are getting better. But a baby seat to relieve your arms of a child while you go to the bathroom? Now that's luxury, and Japan does it. We need to move. Water savers. So in some places over in Japan, they have toilets that double as sinks so that the water doesn't just get used for one bathroom need, but two. And that is incredibly awesome. So much of the water is wasted while washing your hands or by flushing a toilet, so they came up with a way to get double the bang for their water. These sink toilets have the sink on top where one washes their hands after using the restroom. This water then falls into the tank of the toilet and is used on the next flush, thus doubling up the same water for two entirely different bathroom acts. So cool and so smart. Can you imagine if it were used in the toilet first and then to wash hands though? Pretty sick. Speaking of chipping in. Did you know that in a lot of schools over in Japan, the school children themselves don't just attend the school and study there, but they also act as little janitors as well? Can you even imagine if we attempted to get kids over here in America to clean up their schools? There would be fights and angry parents calling the school to complain about their children having to clean up said schools. But hey, it is what it is. But in Japan, a lot of schools only have one janitor and some schools have none. Instead, the kiddos handle all the cleaning, and it's meant to show their gratitude for having an education. The schools also subscribe to the idea that it helps to make them productive members of society. No wonder people clean up after sporting events. They're taught since childhood to be productive and to do their part. We could definitely learn from this. A love note. Apparently, this note says, "I accidentally knocked over your bike and broke your bell. I am very sorry." Let that sink in. Not only was someone courteous enough to leave a note explaining what happened, but they also left money to get a replacement as well. We're sure there are other countries where people are this friendly and honest and take responsibility for their actions. Then you go some places, if someone picks a parking spot where their car won't fit, they'll either bump into surrounding cars on the way in and not care at all, or they'll fit and slam their doors into the vehicles around them, again, not caring one bit. If only we lived in a better world. If only we lived in Japan. So thoughtful. As we all know, a lot of sticks of gum come in wrappers, which is perfect for helping to dispose of said gum after it loses its flavor and is ready to be spit out. But what about the packs of gum that don't come with pieces individually wrapped? Like the packs of Eclipse in the plastic containers, or those that come in those half foil, half plastic packets where you just push the gum out through the foil. With those, you don't have anywhere to dispose of the gum when you're done with it, besides, the trash. Well, in Japan, they have packs of gum that come in plastic containers that also include a sticky notepad inside, so you can tear off a piece of paper and wrap your gum in it. The Japanese seem to think of basically everything, don't they? They're so thoughtful. Cool lockers, literally. Some malls offer storage lockers for your stuff while you shop, but a lot of times these lockers cost you something and store only things that you don't mind sitting at room temperature. In Japan, some shopping malls offer these great refrigerated storage compartments to keep anything perishable you may be carrying, and that's just fantastic. We all know those times where we go shopping out of order or forget we need something from somewhere, but if we go to the grocery store first, we feel the need to head home to get our perishable items in the fridge. But with this system, it doesn't matter what order you shop in because the Japanese have your back. The lockers can only hold so much though, so don't expect your entire shopping trip's worth of groceries to fit, but for just a few things. This is perfect. We need this. You know when you go out to a restaurant and can't make your mind up on what you want to eat, and it's made all that much more difficult because you can't see what the plate is actually going to look like before you get it? Well, some restaurants in Japan take care of that right up front, give you a little sneak preview of just what you're diving into before you make the leap. Some displays have fake food in them, but that show how each of their menu items is set up. So you can avoid the disappointment when you finally decide on a meal and it comes out in a much smaller or less appetizing than you thought it would be. This is also a great way to sell more food and to have happier customers, and not to mention less food sent back because someone just isn't happy. This book of pages we need to take from Japan is getting rather large. The selfie. We all know that the Japanese are the kings and queens of the selfie, so why wouldn't their touristy spot have a built-in cell phone holders for the perfect selfie angles and shots? You can find stands like this in many places, perfect for snapping a quick pic. And with them, it's much easier to get a good shot that's basically already lined up for you. Set up your phone, snap a quick picture, and move on so someone else can get a photo too. The only problem are that all the pictures taken from these have to look the same. There's not much differentiating one can do with taking an image from a predetermined place, but still, this is cool and helpful when you need the perfect picture in a picturesque setting. This is fantastic. We don't know whether to laugh or if we should perhaps praise whoever came up with the seat inside of an elevator. This thing allows people to take a little load off and pop a squat in the elevator on their rides up or down. But if you look closely at the sign, you start to notice some more exciting stuff about the seat. If there is an emergency, the seat can double as a toilet. Can you imagine watching someone doing their business in an elevator? But hey, in an emergency situation, this could come in handy, be it a personal can't hold it anymore emergency, or if for some reason the elevator itself stopped working. It also contains various emergency items in case something serious is going on, like toilet paper, an emergency light, some drinking water, and deodorant. Only the necessities. Deodorant would come really in handy in any kind of emergency situation, let's be honest. Crazy stuff. You go, Japan. Do you believe us yet? Do you see why Japan is unlike any other country? If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and come over to my channel, Watch Topic, for more videos like this. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye!